Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Skullgrin. You can see him there in front of the box. We'll go ahead and put them off to the side real quick. And we're going to look at that. And yep, you can see he's there in his tank mode. In the Legacy logo Transformers and Car and all that stuff. You got nice artwork there on the side, you know, of him, close-ups and all that stuff. Kind of using his swords. You got the Legacy logo. You got the line white artwork on this side. You got, you know, copyrights and all that stuff on the bottom. And you have product shots and warnings. And, of course, the QR code for if you want the bio and all that stuff from him. Including his also instructions, which are pretty straightforward and easy to understand. So, Skullgrin. Yes, he is, well, the Skull Man. Yeah, I rather like the robot itself for sure. You know, nice, lots of purples and grays. You can look in up front, and also whites. You can see big old skull face with horns and everything. You know, red eyes, or actually more pink eyes and everything. You got the purples and grays. You got the Decepticon logo. You got the skull belts, which, you know, more skulls, and you got more gray and spikes and purple and, yeah, all that stuff. And you got, you know, nice little white shoulder pauldrons. You got his cannons in the back and a little tail right there and all that stuff too. So, you know, pretty darn good looking overall, I feel. And the barrels are picked out a nice kind of gunmetal there. Yeah, pretty darn good looking overall. He also comes with a couple swords, which are, well, they're cast actually in the more rubberier plastic, like the same thing the skull is. And unfortunately, this also means sometimes the guns can be a little bent, but, you know, it's not too difficult to fix that if, you know, you just kind of hold them straight and apply heat and all that stuff. But you can hold them either, you know, as a sword, or I guess as a gun. You can do either one of those things if you want. You can also, you know, you can take these guns back here and, you know, pull them off there, and you can hold those, or whatever. You can hold those, or you can, you know, peg them onto the shoulders. Peg the swords on the shoulders. You can also, if you want to use both of the more standard guns, you can go ahead and do that if you want. So you got options about how you want to do things. Yeah, but yeah, so pretty much, like, this is also made of the rubbier plastic, probably for good reason. Although some people don't like it, it's probably for the best. But yeah, that's the thing. I genuinely like how this looks, though, overall. I think it's just really neat. Just kind of this weird, dumb, big old boxy robot, but he's also just got a bunch of skull crap on him. So it's like, it's very 80s. Two different versions of the 80s. You got the whole boxy look, plus you got, you know, metal owls or whatever. So, yeah, but posability, his head is actually going to go left and right and up and down. It's on this ball joint, and it's also attached to this little gray thing. So you actually got a lot of up as well. It kind of exposes things. You got up and not really down, but left and right, and waggle is kind of limited just because of the shape of the head. Shoulders, you got full 360. Got outward that far. You have a bicep swivel. Elbows can bend that far. No wrist articulation. You do have that, though, I guess, if you ever, you know, which is good for, you know, sword poses. Always a good thing for sword poses, to be able to point the sword. So that's the thing. Let's put this one back. His tail can also go up and down, I guess. This can also rotate, or you can just remove this entirely as well. It's just a peg and a hole. So that's the thing I forgot. Waist, you have somewhat hindered by this. Again, if you remove this part, it's completely unhindered. So yeah, you got a waist swivel there. Hips can go forward that far. Again, back that far. So outward, you got, well, pretty much that's it. You got that much outward, unfortunately. That's as far as it'll go, thanks to molded detail. Thighs, though, you got a swivel. Knees can bend 90 degrees. Also click into place when you put them fully straight. And of course the ankles, you have darn a good amount of tilt there. You got not really forward or back, not really, just because of how it's assembled. So even though there's a hinge there, you can't really use it in robot mode. So that's a thing. Yep. Yeah, really nice robot mode overall. And with pretty decent posability. The only thing I would basically make my complaint about is maybe the hips and outward isn't so great. But quick comparisons. Here's with the WaveMate crankcase. And here he is with the Pretender guys released so far in Legacy, although they're a different scale, size class, for better or for worse. And those are just, I'm going to keep Bombers here for a second because I forgot something, which was when I reviewed him, which is, I forgot I had these. So here's Skullgrin's little Pretender shell guy from Power of the Primes. Yeah, just Bombers, just to give you an idea. Just I kind of forgot I even had these. Yeah, Guanus doesn't have one, though. Never had one of these Power of the Prime ones. At least not has released, anyway. And also here he is. Whoop, forgot. And here he is with Siege Megatron. There you go. Yeah, so that's robot mode. So transform him. It's actually more involved than you might think, considering what you get. Yeah, so go ahead and take the swords out of his hands. Back here, you want to go ahead, if you haven't already, take this and fold that up, and then take the guns and just kind of angle them back like that. Just get them out of the way. Now, here at the skull, you want to go ahead and take this piece and rotate these horns around the back, and take these horns and fold them in like that. Then take the hands here and rotate them into the forearms like that. Straighten those out. Then take the skull and just raise that up and untap the chest, open that up, which will let you then bring that skull back down, and then rotate this whole assembly through like that, and make sure that feed the skull through that. Straighten that all out right there. Close this back up and tab that back in. Back here, this slider right here, you want to go ahead and slide that back until it clicks into place. And then you want to go ahead and rotate the forearms 90 degrees like that. And then at this hinge, bring them in, tab them together. And then there's these tabs right here will go into the little slots in the biceps. Oops, and I accidentally knocked that off. That. So you got that so far. Now, down here at the legs, what you're going to want to do is you're actually going to take this piece and bring that finjet down like that, and then bring the legs forward like so. Like that. And you want to take these tread pieces and untab them and extend those out like this. Just get those out of the way. Bring the feet and rotate them back and tab them in right here. And tab those in right there. Now here at the legs, what you want to do is collapse this. You can see multiple hinges in there. You want to collapse the legs in, and there's a tab here which will go into a slot on the inside the shin. And then there's a tab here as well, which will go inside a little slot right there. Might not hold quite yet, not until it's all said and done. Do the same thing on this side. Bring that up and tab that in, and then tab the legs together right there, and then you could probably try to tab it in back here as well. Again, it doesn't really super tab in right there until it's like all secured in place. And then go ahead and unfold these completely, and then bring these back. These will kind of hook over this part, and then you want to rotate this as well. And bring it back, and it'll kind of hook over that, and this will tab in. There's a tab. There's two slots here, and there's two tabs on the tread. Will go in those slots like that. And then same thing on this side. bring over and then rotate this up and tab that into the sides. This should really start, hopefully, getting this all into place. There we go. Yeah, that's all holding together right there. And then go ahead and make sure that's all pointed like this. And then you can take the swords here and peg it into either one of these holes in the treads. And there you go. That's Skullgrin's alt mode, which, yeah, it's weird. This is not the worst alt mode I've ever seen, but it's not great. It's basically just a brick with some treads on it and some guns on it, which, yay, I guess nothing. There's not even any wheels or anything. What's weird is his treads are way back here, and you got all this in front, and this just came untabbed again. Yeah, you got all this up front way ahead of the treads, and it's just like, what? Yeah, you got this stuff. You can see just stuff kind of chilling out underneath. So it's a weird thing where it's like I said, it's a weirdly elaborate and actually kind of fun transformation. Then you just get this kind of brick thing with guns on it, and it's just, yeah, you can slide around, I guess, and you got the guns can, go up and down and rotate. But yeah, it's just a very weird alt mode, to say the least. It's just very strange, and I don't know what to make of it, honestly. It's not the worst one I've seen. I think one of the worst alt ones I've ever seen is the Earthrise Quintesson. That was like one of the worst, but it's definitely, this is really hampers, I feel, the toy in a sense, because coming off of, I would say, a pretty darn good robot mode and a pretty solid transformation, it's just you get to a point where, like, wait, that's it? It's done? Yeah, it's done. So, I don't know. This alt mode is very much feels half-baked in a sense. So, again, not the worst, but it's definitely not great. So, it's not great, though, to say the least. I think this is going to be the deciding factor for people whether or not they get it. Because that's the thing. Because again, robot mode's fantastic, I feel, but if this alt mode bothers you a lot, it's going to really, really hard sell for you to buy this thing. But if you don't care that much about the alt mode one way or the other, then Skullgrin's got a really good looking robot, and he's got some pretty cool, it just feels like an 80s album cover of sorts. So, maybe? It really depends. It basically depends on how much this alt mode bothers you. That will be the deciding factor. If this bothers you a lot, I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't skip it. If it doesn't really bother you, then go ahead and get him. I think you'll be in for a good time. But that's all I can say, really. So I guess that's it for this one. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitter, my Nemesis Prime 1. Check out my co-host, cohost.com/Nemesis-Prime. Check out my Coffee, my Patreon. And I shall see you next time with another video review.